Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's always said that visuals speak much louder than 1,000 words. Look at these visuals on your screens. Is this a show of unity or a sham for opportunism? Watch these top leaders of opposition descend in Bengaluru. Chief Minister Kejriwal says namaste to Congress's Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and DK Shiv Kumar, and then vigorously shakes hands with Congress's KC Venugopal. One wouldn't have imagined that earlier Aam Aadmi Party had threatened to pull out of this unity meet due to the Congress, which wasn't supporting the Aam Aadmi Party on the issue of contesting the ordinance brought in by the centre, and in Punjab has arrested former Deputy Chief Minister O.P. Saini. Now watch the smiles and flowers showered by DK Shiv Kumar on Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister of West Bengal. This after Congress dragged the TMC Sarkar to court over an alleged pre-planned genocide during the Panchayat elections in Bengal just a few days ago. Behind Chief Minister Mamata's warm greetings lie cold calculations, and Congress's enthusiasm perhaps hides its tactical retreat that it has made on its position with both the Trinamool Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. It's been a dramatic change of fortunes for the Congress party. It's been relegated to the playing a second fiddle after projecting itself as the fulcrum of the opposition in the UPA era. These 26 parties that are currently breaking bread together have been bound by one factor, and that is the combined zeal to defeat Narendra Modi. But can a common goal smoothen out the ideological, political and numerical differences that continue to exist between them? Here's why the Congress is feeling the pinch. When it came to the centre's ordinance to clip the wings of the Aam Aadmi Party Sarkar in Delhi, the Congress has remained non-committal, but Congress was forced to accept the terms set by the AAP to retain it within the united opposition fold. Ahead of the Bengaluru meeting, it has conceded and agreed to oppose the centre's ordinance in the parliament, calling it a bid by centre to sabotage federalism. Listen in to the Congress's flip-flop and the thrilled acceptance by the Aam Aadmi Party, which brought it to its knees.
देखो, किसी एक व्यक्ति का प्रश्न नहीं है और कोई व्यक्ति महत्व नहीं होता देश के सामने। देश के डेमोक्रेसी को और देश के संविधान को अगर ठोस पहुंचती है तो हमारा कर्तव्य होता है कि हम एकजुट होकर जो लोग इस संविधान को बचाने वाले हैं और डेमोक्रेसी को बचाने के लिए एक होते हैं, तो हम इसमें मिलकर काम करेंगे।
पूरे हिंदुस्तान के हर गैर भाजपा सूबे में लागू कर एक एक सरकार को ध्वस्त करेगी। सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, उनके विचाराधीन आने वाले जो विषय हैं उनको खींच लेगी और सारे सरकारों को, गैर भाजपा सरकारों को नपुंसक करने का काम करेगी। इसीलिए हम कह रहे हैं कि इस काले अध्यादेश को रोकना बहुत जरूरी है। और उसी श्रृंखला में कल कांग्रेस ने भी अपनी जो पोजीशन है उसे सार्वजनिक तौर पर रखा है, बात क्लियर कर रही है। हम दिल्ली की 2 करोड़ आबादी के ओर से, आम आदमी पार्टी की ओर से कांग्रेस पार्टी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं।
In politics, going back on your word, it's no big deal. Everybody knows that. But go back so much? Well, not surprising. While central leaders of the Congress and Aam Aadmi Party put up a united front, hear how Delhi Congress chief calls out the unity farce himself. Here's Congress exposing the Congress.
देखिए, एक तो पहली मर्तबा नहीं है। अरविंद केजरीवाल को दिल्ली से कोई सरोकार नहीं है। ये तो ठीक है, ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग्स हो रही है, पहले से कार्यक्रम तय था, लेकिन 10 तारीख को जिस तरह से घोषणा करके लोगों को आश्वस्त किया गया कि दिल्ली में बाढ़ नहीं आएगी, उसके विरुद्ध 11 तारीख को फ्लड आ जाता है। 11 से आज लगभग 17 तारीख है। दिल्ली में अभी भी हालात गंभीर बने हुए हैं, खतरे से नीचे अभी वाटर लेवल नहीं आया है।
Are you confused? Well, don't be, because when it comes to a bid for power, they'll all get together and forget they said anything other than being together forever. Now, remember, the entire ordinance action now shifts to Rajya Sabha, where the bill is likely to be introduced during the monsoon session. Here, the Aam Aadmi Party has the backing of at least 99 members of parliament, while the NDA stands at 112. The magic figure is 120. So the key players could be YSRCP, BJD, BSP, TDP and the JDS for the BJP to clear the Rajya Sabha test. So far, the BJD and the YSRCP are keeping their cards very close to the chest. After all, who doesn't want to bargain when there is a sale that's going on? The BJP, however, has lashed out at the Congress party and the Aam Aadmi Party coming together, saying thieves have united. Listen in.
आम आदमी पार्टी आई थी भ्रष्टाचार को रोकने के लिए और आज लड़ रही है अपना भ्रष्टाचार बचाने के लिए। पूरी दिल्ली देख रही है, कांग्रेस तो पहले से भ्रष्टाचार में डूबी हुई है, जिसके ऊपर लगभग 12 लाख करोड़ के भ्रष्टाचार का केस चल रहा हो। वो कांग्रेस निश्चित रूप से भ्रष्टाचार के दलदल में तो हाथ मिला ही लेगी, लेकिन इनके मिलने से, इन लोगों के भ्रष्टाचार करने की सलाह देने से और खुद करने से इनके चेहरे जो हैं उनके पर्दे खुल चुके हैं।
The second compromise the Congress has been forced to make was with the Trinamool Congress. While Congress's Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary knocked on the Calcutta High Court's door saying that Bengal's poll violence was a premeditated genocide, the Congress now is willing to forget about the blood of its own cadre spilled in Bengal. Sonia Gandhi is sharing the dais with Mamata Banerjee and even discussing how to share seats. The BJP has called out the Congress hypocrisy on this as well. Listen in.
Well, there is no bar on meeting, but what for? Why did Arvind Kejriwal leave Delhi? People are crying. There is no drinking water. There is mud everywhere. And he has gone to Bengaluru. Yes. Congress party is conspicuously silent. Mamata ji has completely killed the essence of democracy in Gram Panchayat election. I have seen for myself. Congress party is silent. Mr. Yechuri is silent. CPI is silent. This is called a crass opportunism of give and take politics.
It's not just the ordinance and Bengal, but Congress will also be forced to forgive and forget in Punjab and Kerala too. In Punjab, Congress leader O.P. Soni has been arrested by the Punjab Vigilance Bureau. While the Congress called it a witch hunt then, today it's all set to discuss seat sharing with the Aam Aadmi Party for 2024. Well, don't raise your eyebrows because ऐसा तो हो सकता है और होता है because elections are elections. Similarly, in Kerala, the Congress state chief has been arrested in a cheating case by the left Sarkar, while the Congress alleged that the left was ruled by fear and was trying to silence the opposition. Tomorrow, they will also sit down and discuss seat sharing with left parties in Bengaluru meet. And this has led the BJP to say that the Congress has been reduced to a second fiddle in their desperate bid to defeat Modi. Listen in.
They are calling as Mahagathbandhan. Actually, there is no Bandhan in this Mahagathbandhan and there is no Maha also. Their sole aim is to bring down Modi, which is just impossible because right from the common man, woman still remembers all the programs of Narendra Modi which have reached them. And they are taking benefit every month.
ये जितना भी विपक्ष जो एक साथ आ रहा है, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने बड़े सही शब्दों में कहा है, ये अपनी डायनेस्टी, अपने परिवार को बचाने के लिए कर रहे हैं। जितने भी लोग हैं, उनके बच्चे राजनीति के अंदर हैं, उनका भविष्य सिक्योर करने के लिए।
और कहीं का ईंट कहीं का रोड़ा, भानुमति ने कुनबा जोड़ा, इस तरीके का ये अलायंस है। न तो इनके पास नेता है, न ही नीयत है, न ही नीति है और न ही फैसला लेने की ताकत है। यह फोटो अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए अच्छा है, लेकिन सच्चाई यह है कि न तो इनके पास कोई फैसला लेने की ताकत है और न ही वो नीयत है, न ही नेता है। स्वार्थ की राजनीति पर आधारित ये एकता की जो बुनियाद है वो बड़ी खोखली है और इसीलिए यह कोई डिलीवर करने के लिए नहीं है। यह 10 साल के यूपीए के सरकार के भ्रष्टाचार और घोटालों का टोला है।
Let's take a look at the number game that is coming up, because in a democracy it's all about numbers. And how do the numbers stack up? Can united opposition challenge the BJP? The opposition has reached out to new allies that will add up 6 more seats in its fold, making it 143. The NDA, on the other hand, has 313 seats in its kitty in the Lok Sabha, while 26 opposition parties are willing to come on board and discuss seat sharing. There is yet another there is another alliance meeting that the NDA is holding tomorrow, claiming that they have 38 partners coming on board with them tomorrow. So it is a coalition versus a coalition that is building up, and that, ladies and gentlemen, really brings us to the legitimate question. Who's bending over backwards and who is looking at ideology, and is the Congress all set to playing second fiddle just because it needs to accommodate all parties in its bid to challenge Prime Minister Modi? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour first. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP, Smita Prakash, Editor, ANI, Dr. Naval Kishore, National Spokesperson of the RJD, Karthik Reddy, Spokesperson of the BRS, Dr. Akashdeep Puni, Political Analyst, supports the Aam Aadmi Party, Salem Dharanidharan, Spokesperson of the DMK, Ameek Jamai, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. But let me first go across to Dr. Sanjay Jha, author and suspended Congress leader. And Sanjay Jha, there was an official soundbite that was given by the official spokespersons of the Congress party that they would never ever stand on the same side with the Aam Aadmi Party chief Kejriwal on the ordinance issue. In fact, even today, the Delhi Pradesh Congress committee head is virtually abusing the Aam Aadmi Party, calling him names, saying that he's let down the people of Delhi. But bouquets are being given to Arvind Kejriwal. All kinds of compromises are being made. You are ready to support him on everything. Trinamool Congress, same story. I want to ask you, is this an opposition unity meeting, or is this a meeting to bring the Congress down to its knees?
Navika, good evening. I think we need to kind of address the larger context behind the opposition meet happening in the Bengaluru summit. Number one, whether it's AAP, TMC, or the Congress, or all the other opposition members out there, they are convinced that the last 10 years under Mr. Narendra Modi has been India's lost and dark decade. This has to be the most corrupt, communal, and incompetent government in India's political history. You know, just like Hindenburg called Adani as the greatest con in corporate history, I think the BJP is the greatest con in India's political and parliamentary history. And the reason is very straightforward. I think all the opposition parties, including the Congress, and I'm very happy that the Congress is very pragmatic, has been politically accommodating because it has the larger presence. And I think it's important that everyone realizes that this is not rhetoric anymore, Navika. We are seeing the death of Indian democracy. We are seeing how the constitution is being made dysfunctional. I mean, take an example of Maharashtra where I live. The BJP does what it wants to do with Uddhav's party, with the NCP, and now it's normal. Now people are supposed to say, ki yaar, Amit Shah kya Chanakya hai? BJP is buying and selling MLAs in a stock exchange kind of a transaction, and it has become the new normal. Lynching is the new normal. Destroying, abusing CBI and ED and IT's powers is the new normal. Mr. Modi has made violence, the destruction of democracy, hate politics, and communal polarization extremely normal in India. People are supposed to say, well, what's the big deal? And I think everyone in Bengaluru is convinced it's about time we got together and exposed the biggest fraud that India has seen. And this is evident.
So,
in
Dr.
data
Sanjay
on
Jha, Dr. Sanjay Jha, you know, you're very worried about Maharashtra, and so should you be. But may I also raise the issue of Bengal? I was born there, so I'm a bit worried about Bengal. What stock exchange would you call it there, where blood was traded when the panchayat elections were on? 45 people were killed because panchayat elections were on. But you won't call that democracy in danger, because it doesn't. Because it doesn't suit you. You will not even talk about it. Rahul Gandhi will not even tweet about it, and you'll just pretend it's happening in another country, and probably Bengal is not part of India at all. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, no, 1 minute. Sanjay Jha, hold on. You know, your lecture on democracy, well taken, but I will raise my own questions, and now just be on the hearing side while Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi answers. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, double speak on both sides. And I'm today only going to talk about people of India. What are people of India getting to see? Aam Aadmi Party and Trinamool Congress sitting together and compromising with the Congress Party, and on the other side, the BJP compromising with the NCP, who you remember all the names that you have called the NCP in the past. Which side are people of India supposed to look at for ideology and who to vote for?
As far as the issue of ideology is concerned, I think Bharatiya Janata Party is the only political party in the entire history of the country which has never changed any stance on its ideology. And in the last 72 years, from our inception as Jan Sangh in 1951, and you cannot quote any other political party which has not totally changed its stand on ideological issues. I will just give one instance. After the judgment of Sri Ram Janmabhoomi, you will not quote a single political party who will say that they are against political party other than Bharatiya Janata Party who used to say that they are in favor of Ram Temple. So that shows how the ideology changes of the others, and that shows how firmly we stand with our principle, and ultimately because our stand is right, so things go in the right direction. And as far as today is concerned, whatever is happening in Bengaluru, it is not happening for the first time. I would like to remind Sanjay Jha ji, remember in 2018, इससे बड़ा picture था. हाथ वाथ सब पकड़ के रैली हुई थी, सबने दिखाया था, and Bangalore is considered to be the aerospace industry center of the country. So the plane took off and landed nowhere. It has landed nowhere. इस दिल के टुकड़े हजार हुए, कोई यहां गिरा, कोई वहां गिरा, और आज आपकी हालत तो वो है कि nobody is concerned about the country. जिसे एक पुरानी पंक्ति कहते थे ना, कौन रोता है किसी की बात पे दोस्त, सबको अपनी ही किसी बात पे रोना आया. इसलिए देखिए वेदर आम आदमी पार्टी इज देयर. और जब आम आदमी पार्टी जा रही थी तो मुझे क्या नजर आया नाविका जी, देखिए नई राजनीति के सूरमा कैसे कैसे बदल गए. भारत की सबसे नई नवेली पार्टी सबसे पुरानी धुरानी और चतुर सयानी पार्टी के कैसे हुजूर में जाकर सजदा करने लगी. ये होता है हालात वो जो नए आए थे बदलने के लिए. और संजय जी यूजेस टू से, आई थिंक नाउ अपोजिशन पार्टीज एंड पर्टिकुलरली द कांग्रेस पार्टी हैज given a very rare example in the Indian history when they openly say that their leaders are commodities who can be sold. They first proclaimed, yes, there was a corruption, there was a huge corruption in our government, we were corrupt. Then you say morally so weak that they can any be taken into pressure, and then they being sold as commodities. I think the utter disrespect to your previous government, utter disrespect to your leader, which the Congress party and others are showing, ऐसा तो साहब एलानिया अपनी बेइज्जती ऐसा करने का नजर नहीं आता. The reason being, when they were in government, their stand on those issues was ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. Now they say ऐसा ही हुआ और हमने ही किया. Our stand was there was a suspicion, and we still stand with a suspicion, and that's why none of the leader who is under suspicion, the cases has been withdrawn. Can you quote a single instance? As there was several examples, like Samajwadi Party's case were withdrawn after they supported on nuclear deal in July 2008, or Bahujan Samaj Party has supported, then the cases were withdrawn, and the DMK supported on the 2G PSC committee, the 2G report, and then the cases were withdrawn. So, sir, Sanjay Jha ji, मैं सिर्फ ये कहना चाहूंगा, democracy is not in danger. Democracy is flourishing. That's why all those political parties in which there is no democracy, only dynasty, all dynasty parties are coming together and they are saying that democracy is danger. I think this is the biggest paradox and oxymoron of the day.
Well, let me get in Mr. Salam Dharanidharan. I want to ask you, where is any ideology in all of this? What will this motley group of 26 parties say that they stand for, other than saying that we are here together, bearing all our differences because we want to remove one man called Narendra Modi? Is there any other unifying factor? Because if you say democracy is in danger, please don't even bother to say that line, because democracy was also in danger in Bengal. Nobody raised one comment on what happened in Bengal. Each one of these 26 parties was a mute spectator. The Congress, which cried there inside Bengal, has stopped crying outside of Bengal. So I want to ask you, Mr. Salem, what are we talking about?
See, I would like to first rebuke the BJP spokesperson who, when spoke, said BJP is the only party that has an ideology. But the funny thing is, BJP under Modi and Amit Shah does not have any ideology. The only ideology is that they have reworded the concept of democracy from by the people, of the people, for the people, into by the corporates, of the corporates, and for the corporates. Under BJP government, only 100 corporate companies are flourishing, and I have data for it. And why are we uniting together? As our Honorable Chief Minister told on his birthday, it is not about who will form the government, but it is about who should not form the government. Why should Modi not form the government? Because he is against the idea of India. One more term of BJP can destroy the concept of India, because India is a pluralistic land, and this BJP government does not believe in pluralism. Our unity lies in our diversity, but this incumbent BJP government believes in oneness, one religion, one language, one food, one fertilizer, what not, right? There is no federalism in this country. They are replacing states into municipalities. States are being converted into union territories and what not. And the money that Tamil Nadu gets, we give 1 rupee and we get only 30 paise back. Right? If you do not support the BJP government, then you don't get your GST grants on time. And you know why BJP is now paranoid? Because they know in 2024 they'll be obliterated. Okay. Because so far never have all the opposition parties galvanized like this under a common concept of social justice. What do we want to do? We want to uplift the poor. We want to uplift the downtrodden. We want to empower all. Not like Modi to reduce corporate taxes and then increase fuel taxes, harming the bottom 99% of the population.
Sounds great, Mr. Dharanidharan. But let me get in Smita Prakash. Smita Prakash, when the DMK spokesperson actually tells us about BJP government being a government for the corporates, did irony die 1,000 deaths? After all, 2G happened under their watch. The Supreme Court cancelled 122 licenses under their watch, and they are giving us lessons on how corporates are being favored in this government. Smita?
Yeah, attacks about crony capitalism is something that comes up during every election. So I would think that it is election rhetoric once again, because nothing has been proven. And unless it's proven in court of law, you can make these kind of charges. It doesn't hold ground. Also, to say that this kind of opposition unity moves have never happened before, you just need to do a little bit of a Google search. It's happened before, not just happened before in the country, it's happened in Bengaluru itself. So you just need to know this, that it was in under the
common ideology.
common ideology,
Under
same
common
ideology.
ideology.
The birth of the
Right?
Janata Dal
I think I'm
was in
misquoting here.
1988 in Bengaluru. That is where it happened. It was a common ideology that came into focus. And even at that time, it was socialism which came in against corporate culture. It was the same rhetoric all over again. So, to say that time and again this has been said, which is like, what Sudhanshu was pointing out, that Aam Aadmi Party, the birth of the party was against the Congress and now is genuflecting in front of the Congress. It's not really true, in the sense that it's not gone and does sajda in front of the Congress. It's the Congress which agreed to the terms and conditions of the Aam Aadmi Party, a party which is born because of an anti-Congress plank, and it agreed to the terms and conditions that the Aam Aadmi Party put about the ordinance, and only if that was brought into effect would they come and join the Bengaluru meet. So that's what has happened. I mean, this is, if you go back into it, Mamata Banerjee got out of the Congress, and now she's the one who's almost at the helm, or one of the senior most people at that opposition meet. In fact, she and Nitish, these are the two people who have more experience behind them, having been 3 times chief minister, or Nitish, God knows how many times he's been chief minister. But you're seeing that the chairing the meet is going to be Khargeji, who has not been chief minister. But what one likes to see out there is that if there could be any kind of an ideological getting together rather than just an anti-Modi plank. If it's just an anti-Modi plank, I doubt whether it will resonate with the people. Just hoping that, saying Modi kharab hai, going to the people is not going to work. So there needs to be some kind of arithmetic. There needs to be some kind of a chemistry before they can get together on a common minimum program. And today's first visuals which came out seems to indicate that there is a kind of an unease, because you saw what happened in the Patna meet. When the Patna meet happened, nobody realized till after the NCP imploded that there were Trojan horses in that Patna meet. That the NCP people who went out there are the ones who came out and gave the entire details about how they couldn't even have conversations, that the leaders who were there in the meet couldn't even have a conversation with each other, couldn't even share a cup of tea. So much was the antagonism in that room. So I think today what you saw out there was this very stiff meeting which took place. Maybe behind the scenes there will be some kind of dialogue, beginning of a dialogue at least.
Well, let's see whether that dialogue really begins. But Ameek Jamai, I would rather, put it lyrically to you. दोस्त ना रहा, इसी तरह तो यूपीए से आप निकले थे, इसी तरह तो वो आपकी अलायंस थी यूपी से जिससे आप निकले थे, और उसके बाद आज फिर, मतलब जरा से कुछ महीने बीतते हैं तो ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे. What's going on? आप दोस्त हैं कि दुश्मन हैं? और अगर दोस्त थे तो फिर दुश्मन क्यों बन गए? फिर दुश्मन से दोस्त बन रहे हो? ये क्या मेरी गो राउंड है जिस पे आप देश की जनता को घुमाना चाह रहे हो? कुछ तो समझाओ.
देखिए नाविका मैम, सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि हिंदी पट्टी से माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी और जयंत चौधरी साहब बैंगलोर की मीटिंग में इकट्ठा हुए हैं, और हम ये मानते हैं कि वो सभी राजनीतिक दल जो विचारधारा के तौर पे भारत के संविधान को मानते हैं, जिनका भारत की स्वाधीनता की पॉलिटिकल लाइन है, जो भारत के आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया पे विश्वास रखते हैं, उनके बीच में हमारे सहमतियां असहमतियां तो डेमोक्रेसी की खूबी है, और विचारधारा पे जनता के पक्ष में हम कभी साथ जाते हैं, हम कभी अलग होते हैं. आप यूपीए 1 का शासन देखो, यूपीए 2 का शासन देखो, भले ही नेताजी ने, माननीय मुलायम सिंह यादव जी ने बाहर से समर्थन दिया, लेकिन इसी समर्थन से पिछले जो 2 टर्म थे यूपीए 1 यूपीए 2 के, एनआरएजीए भारत को मिला, लैंड एक्विजिशन एक्ट भारत को मिला, आरटीआई एक्ट भारत को मिला, ये जो फूड सिक्योरिटी बिल है, जो आप राशन बंटवारा है ना, ये राशन बंटवारा, ये यूपीए 1 कांग्रेस लेड यूपीए 1 का प्रोग्राम था. तो सभी भारत के लोग जानते हैं कि यूपीए 1 यूपीए 2 ने भारत के लोगों को बहुत मजबूत बनाया. लेकिन इस 13 साल, ये जो हमारा 14 का और 23 का जो साल है, स्मिता मैम बहुत तारीफ कर रही थी, मैं मुबारकबाद देना चाहता हूं, लेकिन मैम 24 में हो सकता है कि आपको तारीफ विड्रॉ करना पड़ जाए, क्योंकि जो हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर है ना, हमारा प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब से झगड़ा नहीं है, हमारा इस विचारधारा से झगड़ा है जिसने भारत में 1 प्राइम मिनिस्टर 1 इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट की थ्योरी पे काम किया, जिस थ्योरी ने भारत में 6% लोगों ने 60% भारत की वेल्थ पे कब्जा कर लिया. भारत के संविधान पे हमले किए, भारत की सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आपने इतिहास में स्मिता मैम आप तो कितनी सीनियर पोजीशन पे रही हैं, कितना भारत को दिखाया आपने। सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जज बाहर आए, सड़क पे आके प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करे, इससे बदतर दिन भारत की डेमोक्रेसी का क्या हो सकता है। यहां नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने भारत को पहुंचाया है। आप सोचिए, किसान तो समाजवादी पार्टी नहीं है, ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर किसान से धोखा देते हैं, उनसे वादा करते धोखा देते हैं। हमारी सरहद, अखिलेश जी ने कहा, कई बार कहा कि माननीय प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी जी चाइना के खिलाफ आगे बढ़ो, हम आपके साथ हैं, भारत के लोग आपके साथ हैं, लेकिन चाइना से प्राइम मिनिस्टर डरते हैं। चाइना तो भारत की जो छवि थी प्राइम मिनिस्टर के नेतृत्व में, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के
लेकिन आपने कांग्रेस में सवाल नहीं खड़ा किया अमीक जमाई जी कि उन्होंने एमओयू क्यों साइन किया, क्यों डोकलाम के दौरान राहुल गांधी मिल रहे थे, वो सवाल आप नहीं पूछेंगे। आपको सवाल पूछने सिर्फ नरेंद्र मोदी से, कांग्रेस के लिए सवाल नहीं है। लेकिन डॉक्टर सुधांशु त्रिवेदी कई सवाल उठाए हैं। अमीक जमाई जी, एक मिनट, अमीक जमाई जी का कहना यह भी है कि सिर्फ एक प्रधानमंत्री और सिर्फ एक इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट। अब इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट का एक फैशन परेड इनके जमाने में भी होता था उत्तर प्रदेश में, आज भूल गए शायद। क्यों डॉक्टर सुधांशु त्रिवेदी जी?
नहीं, उन्हें तो मेरे ख्याल से नहीं ध्यान होगा, तो मैं तो बता देना चाहता हूं, पूरा एक इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट का क्लब बनाया था अमर सिंह जी की लीडरशिप में, जो यूपी डेवलपमेंट काउंसिल बनी थी, फर्स्ट टाइम सारे इंडस्ट्रीज का क्लब बना था। खैर, मैं बताना चाहता हूं व्हाट हैपेंड ड्यूरिंग द मोदी रिजीम। 48 करोड़ पीपल हैव गॉट फर्स्ट टाइम देयर बैंक अकाउंट्स and the accounts are operating. 1,92,000 crore rupees is there in the accounts, which has never happened before. Biggest financial inclusion. 11 करोड़ लोगों को नल से घर मिला, 4 करोड़ लोगों को प्राइम मिनिस्टर आवास मिला, out of which 3 crore are women, which has got ownership right in their registry. I can challenge that before 2014 3 करोड़ औरतें ऐसी गरीब वर्ग की नहीं हो सकती थी जिनका मालिकाना हक रजिस्ट्री में उनकी जमीन के साथ होता। और इतना ही नहीं मिला, वो तो एक अलग बात सोचिए, डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन में हम आगे आए, 5th अर्थव्यवस्था बने, वो सारी बातें छोड़िए, वो सारी बातें अपनी जगह छोड़िए।
प्राइम मिनिस्टर प्रोग्राम
I have not spoken
anything वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर प्रोग्राम है।
I just want to complete it.
आप मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हो।
अमीक जमाई जी, he did not interrupt you. अमीक जमाई जी, he did not interrupt you. He did not interrupt you. You know, we should not interrupt each other. You raised questions, he is answering your questions.
गलत हो तो बोलिए, झूठ पर ऐसे कुछ भी बोल देते हैं।
एक साल बचा है।
I'm lowering everybody's faders. I'm lowering everybody's
faders. अरे भैया, खानदान आपका है, हमारे यहाँ खानदान नहीं होता, हमारे यहाँ कार्यकर्ता होता है, खानदानी आप हैं। And in this khandan, I would also like to quote to all the viewers, all those political parties who claim to be the champions of the poor and downtrodden, उन्हीं के लीडर सबसे अमीर हैं। ये सब पूछिए, इनके खानदान में एक पीढ़ी पहले कितना पैसा था, आज सैकड़ों करोड़ की प्रॉपर्टीज है, कहां से भाई? And then they say they are becoming the champion of the poor. And on the issue of democracy, I would like to ask, Narendra Modi ji is the only prime minister in the India's history who has been democratically rose to the prime minister office with full majority. There are only 2 prime ministers who have been elected by the people for the first time when they became prime minister. Atal ji, but he couldn't get the clear majority. Modi ji is the first prime minister who rose to prime minister office not by accidental prime minister like Manmohan Singh ji, not the circumstantial prime minister like Narsimha Rao ji, not by the sad demise of Indira ji, Rajiv Gandhi ji, not by Gungi Gudiya syndicate ki ladai by like Indira Gandhi ji, and now not by like Jawaharlal Nehru got 0 vote, but with the blessings of Gandhi ji. None of the prime minister has first time become prime minister with the help of. So Narendra Modi represents the democratic power of the country.
ये हैसियत है।
He represents the democratic power of the country which
ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर का इकबाल है।
That's why all those political parties जिसमें
एक इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट बिल भेजेगा, सुधांशु त्रिवेदी पे साइन करेंगे।
परेशान हो रहे भाई, काहे परेशान हो रहे हैं?
बिल भेजेगा
अखिलेश जी, when he became chief minister in 2012, भाई अखिलेश जी में कौन सी क्वालिटी थी जो प्रोफेसर राम गोपाल में नहीं थी? विद इन फैमिली आई वांट टू आस्क।
एक इंडस्ट्री
38 ईयर ओल्ड अखिलेश
प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी को एक इंडस्ट्री चलाएगा, एक अदानी को लाएंगे।
One minute, Amik Jamai ji, just calm down. Let me get in Karthik Reddy, spokesperson of the BRS. Karthik Reddy, NDA.
One more sentence, Navika ji, एक sentence और.
Okay.
तो DMK person.
Yes, go on.
I just want to note down to DMK person. He was saying that they believe in the equality and others. I would quote, Koltar village in Perambur district of Tamil Nadu, in which the Muslims said they have become 70% of the population, so the puja should stop in temple. And the DMK government succumbed to that. And finally Madras High Court intervened that it is not possible that you have become 70%, so you will not allow temple to perform puja. And none of the champions of secularism from Kerala to Kashmir has spoken anything. This is the true face of the secular, inclusive and liberal politics.
Well, let me get in Karthik Reddy. Karthik Reddy, the NDA says they have 38 parties which are meeting together tomorrow, and the PDA has 26 parties which is meeting today and having a gala dinner today. Between the competition of the number of parties, who do you think has the claim to the top job in 2024?
None, very clearly, Navika ji. A very good evening आपको और हमारे पूरे पैनलिस्ट को वहाँ पे. I've just heard Sudhanshu bhai speak at stretch, and I wonder if the Rajya Sabha seat renewal is coming up. I know you have to praise your leader, but itna bhi nahi, Sudhanshu ji. Modi ji is the only elected Prime Minister of this country. I know you've been very subjective to the elections of Manmohan Singh, have been very subjective to the elections of Narasimha Rao, and also being subjected to the elections of Rajiv Gandhi. But Indira Gandhi, Nehru, you completely threw them.
Twist the words.
सुधांशु जी मुझे बोलने दीजिए, इसके बाद में आप बोल रहे हैं.
सबका तो बता दिया.
You completely forgotten all the ex-popular prime ministers of this country.
I have said the
so very conveniently. ठीक है, अब बाद में.
Who goes to the office of prime minister with public support.
Okay.
The similar lines apply to other prime ministers also, Sudhanshu bhai. In the outset, Navika ji, let me be very clear in the outset. We want to be very clear in point number one, is that we want the BJP not to be in the behest of ruling this country. One. And two, we are equidistant to the BJP and Congress. Navika ji, I've decided to be a little crass and insensitive today. I say this because there are few friends today in Bengaluru who we call friends, but time has come to put the facts out and be insensitive as possible.
Please name them.
Now,
Akhilesh Yadav, Arvind Kejriwal. Who are you referring to? Please tell us. We don't believe in riddles.
Navika ji, you very well know whom we are calling friends.
Smita is smiling. Smita, have I hit the nail on the head?
Navika ji,
Smita ji, have I hit the nail on the head? Akhilesh and
Navika ji, let me finish.
Arvind Kejriwal is being referred to here. Any?
Let's let him say. It's time for him to come here.
Navika ji, you should let me finish my point, please.
You finish your point, but naam to bolo, boss.
Navika ji, in Hollywood, there is a very popular movie called In Pursuit of Happiness. In that movie, the protagonist, end of the day, somehow acquires his happiness. When I see the show today in Bengaluru, I want to name that show In Pursuit of Power. You know, in democracy, when you only thing that you aspire for is power, devoid of ideology, devoid of any leader, you will not get power. And this has proved again and again and again. Today, I appeal to my friends right now who are in that Bengaluru camp. Do you have a clear-cut ideology? Do you have a clear-cut idea? Do you have a clear-cut leader for this country? I don't think so. Navika ji, today there is Shiv Sena in this camp who claim themselves to be the hardcore Hindutva champions, and there is Congress sitting at the other.
And yet they are all secular today. And yet they are all secular today. But Akashdeep Muni, Kartik Reddy has called out Arvind Kejriwal. And कभी आप दोस्त बन जाते हैं केसीआर के, कभी आप दोस्त बन जाते हैं राहुल गांधी के. क्या हो रहा है बॉस?
No, Navika ji, I want to bring something on fact, on only fact. Now, NDA is nothing but non-delivering alliance.
Forget NDA. Forget NDA. You have had so many meetings with Mr. KCR. Today you have left him high and dry. आप किसके असली दोस्त हो? Are you a true friend to anybody?
The Aam Aadmi Party is a true friend to the common man of this country.
Oh.
Which is why. No, let me complete. No, let me suffice it. Now,
give me a minute,
about Bharatiya Janata Party and Sudhanshu ji is here.
Give me a minute,
in 2018, Bharatiya Janata Party promised that by 2022 they will be bringing bullet train. The timeline has been set by Bharatiya Janata Party, not by me.
No problem. Now hear what your friend of yesterday has to say about you today. Kartik Reddy.
Navika ji, there's another point. There's two questions I like to ask Sanjay Bhai or any Congress spokesperson that they're there today. Should
no
an
questions
alliance
for
run
Arvind
from
Kejriwal's
to
party?
Parliament, or should an alliance should stick to some elections? Everybody combined. Should an alliance run from Panchayat to Parliament, or should an alliance be subjective to election? Point number one. Point number two, Navika ji, I don't find there will be any PDA for PDA. As soon as I heard the first time the term PDA, पहला चीज याद आया public display of affection. There will be no public display of affection for patriotic democratic alliance if all the thing you pursue is for power. I hope Sanjay would answer or somebody would answer. Is your alliance from Panchayat to Parliament, or is your alliance only subjective to elections?
Sanjay Jha. Kartik, actually, you should be the happiest person today on this program. Don't look grumpy. You should be smiling ear to ear. You started by saying that your principal objective is to get the BJP and Mr. Modi out of action in 2024. That's exactly why we are meeting in Bengaluru, Kartik. We are actually working to fulfill your dreams, to get this corrupt, dysfunctional, dangerous, diabolical party out of power, because India's future is at risk. Look at a prime minister who
India's future is not at risk in Bengal. It is only at risk in the BJP ruled states and at the center. How hollow you sound, Dr. Sanjay Jha. When you finish this show and go back and sit and think, you'll find yourself in a bit of a problem. But Naval Kishore ji, अब आपने सुना आप ही के दोस्त अमीक जमाई जी बैठे हैं, जो पहले कभी कार्तिक रेड्डी के पार्टी के दोस्त थे, आज आपके दोस्त हैं. अब वो कह रहे थे हिंदी पट्टी से दो लीडर हैं, जयंत चौधरी और अखिलेश. आपको भूल ही गए, लालू जी याद ही नहीं आए. अब आप हिंदी पट्टी के नहीं हैं, अंग्रेजी पट्टी के हैं क्या? और लालू जी भी नहीं याद आए, नीतीश जी भी नहीं याद आए. नहीं, आप भूल गए. अमीक जमाई जी, आप भूल गए. रोज दोस्त बदलोगे तो भूल जाओगे कौन दोस्त है कौन दुश्मन है. और नवल किशोर जी, यही है पर्दाफाश इस पीडीए का. आई एम आउट ऑफ टाइम. नवल किशोर जी, आई एम आउट ऑफ.
बिल्कुल नाविका जी, बिल्कुल ये जो आपने बात कही है ना, ये आप अपने दिल से ये बात कहे हैं, और आपके बाद से सुधांशु जी के चेहरे पे बहुत जबरदस्त मुस्कुराहट आई है. आप घबराइए नहीं. जो विपक्ष की राजनीति है वो देश हित में है. तुम्ही से मोहब्बत, तुम्ही से लड़ाई. लेकिन ये जो पार्टी भाजपा है वो घबराई है, इसी दोस्ती से घबराई है. और हम दिखाएंगे. आपने बहुत देर के बाद 45 मिनट बैठाने के बाद एक मौका दिया, तो बहुत कुछ बोल तो नहीं पाएंगे, लेकिन कम से कम ये जरूर बता देंगे कि जो पटना से घटना घटती है वो पटने वाली नहीं होती है, और विपक्ष की जो एकजुटता है वो घटने वाली नहीं है. सुधांशु जी चाहे कितना भी ज्यादा बोलिए इसके खिलाफ में, लेकिन आपका अंतिम समय आ गया है. ये 10 साल 2 टर्म होते हैं, और प्रचंड बहुमत जिसकी बात करते हैं वो घमंड के लिए नहीं दिया गया था, वो सेवा के लिए दिया गया।
चलिए सुधांशु जी, राइट ऑफ रिबटल। एंड सुधांशु जी, इन्होंने कहा तुम्ही से मोहब्बत, तुम्ही से लड़ाई, पर किसे मार दिया? दुआई है दुआई, बता दीजिए इनको।
नहीं, आप देखिए, आप इसमें भी समय काटते हैं।
नहीं,
इतना
सुधांशु जी,
डिबेट कराना, इतना डरने की क्या बात है? नाविका जी, ये डर ठीक नहीं है।
भाई मैं आपसे भी डरती हूँ, सुधांशु जी से भी डरती हूँ, कार्तिक जी से भी डरती हूँ, सबसे डरती हूँ, डरा हुआ हिंदुस्तान हूँ।
एक साल के बाद ये
घमंड ये होता था नवल किशोर जी।
अरे
आई एम लोअरिंग एवरीबॉडीज फेडर्स। सुधांशु जी 30 सेकेंड्स।
अरे सुनिए, घमंड,
यस सुधांशु जी,
घमंड ये होता था नवल किशोर जी कि जब तक रहेगा समोसे में आलू तब तक रहेगा बिहार में लालू। पर ऐसा तो नहीं हुआ। कोई बात नहीं, आप लोगों की स्थिति ये है जो आपने कहा था ना, हमसे मोहब्बत, तो आपकी स्थिति यह है विपक्षी दलों की। अरे भाई सुनिए, मिलो न तुम तो हम घबराएं, मिलो तो आंख चुराए, हमें क्या हो गया है? ये सारे विपक्षी दल एक दूसरे से यही कहते हैं कि मिलो न तुम तो हम घबराएं, पर मिलो तो आंख चुराए, हमें क्या हो गया है?
वेल, अंताक्षरी हो सकती है वहां 26 पार्टियों की, यहां तो 8 ही हैं, फिर भी लड़ रहे हैं, बोलने का समय नहीं मिल रहा। जब 26 के बीच में बैठेंगे नवल किशोर जी, तब क्या होगा? That is the question. Well, what comes out of this dinner party and then the meetings tomorrow, we'll wait and watch. But ladies and gentlemen, gear up, tighten your seat belts, because it's not just about one alliance, Gathbandhan, that we are going to be talking about tomorrow. It's actually two. 26 parties of the PDA, Public Display of Affection, and 38 parties of the NDA. कौन बनेगा करोड़पति? That will be the question that we'll probably ask the people of this country tomorrow. For the moment, of course, thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on the debate tonight.